Yo, I am happy to welcome you back. I just recorded really cool videos about nasal breathing, mouth breathing, hyperventilation, why this is not the best thing to do for high performers or for athletes that are working towards a really great goal. Unfortunately, they have been all deleted. Let's speak about nasal breathing and why that is difficult. Your body is used to move in a certain environment, and you are used to breathe over your lifetime in a certain pattern. So if you want to change something now, it's going to take some time. Nasal breathing is going to feel dysfunctional. Nasal breathing is going to feel dysfunctional. It's going to make you feel like it's impossible to breathe through your nose whilst you're on the mat, whilst your opponent is trying to take your breath away. But if you manage to nasal breathe in this position, or know when to open your mouth for a second and then close your mouth again, it's going to become pretty powerful, and people are going to be very comfortable in your presence. Your opponent is going to be confused. Why the hell can he breathe? Because you've learned to accumulate such a tolerance towards CO2 that you can do well without breathing for a while. And specifically, you can stay pretty calm. For that, we need to nasal breathe in situations where you're not in training. The breath of an athlete is just going to be as good as the breath is during his phases of restoration, during rest. And most people say, no, but I'm breathing really good whilst I'm not on the mat. But as soon as I train, it's super hot. No, you're not. You're probably over breathing whilst you're closing your mouth. Even if you're now just nasal breathing, I am over breathing as well. Why? Because I'm a human. Because I also don't do my exercises on a daily basis every week. What happens then is that I breathe pretty often per minute, which is what you also do when you hyperventilate and do all these spiritual practices using mouth breathing. Spirituality is not a breathing exercise. It's your ability to access an understanding for connection whilst being in motion and whilst not moving your body, whilst being surrounded by your enemies, whilst being celebrated by an audience. Spirituality is an access and an understanding of your human existence on a planet. It's an awareness tool. And nasal breathing is going to give you the ability to take distance to things and stay in your neutral position. Nasal breathing is important because fighting requires a lot of focus, a lot of flexibility, as in staying in line with what is going to happen and pre-seeing what will happen and still staying in a neutral position without thinking and just thinking the necessary things. It can actually be one of the craziest tools for mental performance and emotional strength. That's why I want to empower you to do this exercise now with me, and then also do it without me on a daily basis. Nasal breathing slows down your breath per minute, which means that your CO2 levels are going to rise, which then means that the oxygen can be more efficiently taken to your blood, muscles, tissues, and brain, which is what we want. If you overbreathe, this is not going to happen. With the breathing, one of the challenging things is that what is going to lead to efficiency, breath-wise, movement-wise, mental performance-wise, and performance is nothing else than being capable to stay mentally healthy and emotionally healthy, doing what you know you're capable to do. So it's one of the most spiritual practices, if you want to see it like that. Connection, understanding, awareness, wisdom, strength, clarity. Things are not separated. We just use words that separate them, and therefore we stay a bit dumb, all of us. Like my arms are not separate from my trunk, and then people speak about the core and shoulder blade, but actually everything works together. My hands move my shoulders. My elbow connects in the brain to the motion of my knees. Throughout the day, observe if it's more easy for you to inhale or exhale through your nose. Remember that nasal breathing doesn't only slow down your breath, which means per minute, which means a good thing because then you're going to have more oxygen throughout the minutes of your life. Let me go deeper into the biochemistry in other videos. Less breaths per minute means more oxygen in your body. Don't hold your breath after an inhalation. I don't care if you do box breathing or not. I'll explain why with time. Then hold your breath after exhalations to increase your CO2 tolerance. And now let's do one exercise to increase your nitric oxide. The nitric oxide is a gas that is going to help create this feeling in your lungs so that when you inhale, you have the feeling of expansion instead of feeling like it's restricted. The diaphragmatic breathing is linked to your nose. What we want to do in order for you to be able to move faster into your neutral position, organ-wise and chemically, is to now slow down your exhalation. So inhaling, not focusing so much on how good or bad you can breathe, and then exhaling, resisting the exhalation. Inhaling, relax your inhalation. You're tensing whilst you're inhaling. Exhaling, sensing how all the joints and the skin around your joints is smooth. Inhale, relax your tongue, your jaw. Exhale, slow down. Resist the exhalation. The word is a bit, I wouldn't have called it inhale. It's more like allowing. Allow it to happen. There's a different sensation to allowing than to inhaling, to doing an action. Exhaling again. Feel how the diaphragm is moving up, and you don't have to do nothing throughout the exhalation for now. Allow. Feel how the diaphragm is moving up towards the heart during exhalation. Allow. And I know it's nice to be guided, but allow yourself to discover your breathing patterns and then relax the diaphragm again. Okay, mouth breathing versus nose breathing and how that doesn't necessarily need to be a performance practice with the oxygen advantage, spiritual practice with yoga or whatever. It's all connected. You are the key, not me and not the program. You are the key.